OK。进入直播间的人现在可以先签到。进入直播间的人可以现在先签到。就是姓名加单位。在今天正式的直播之前呢，我在这儿先加另外一个讲座的通知，就是今天下午的2点半至4点，就是我的硕士导师中国地质大学的肖荣格教授将会做一个节目。那么做这个节目是我们这个节目呢是它主要会讲解矿业开发史以及矿产应用研究。那么涉及到2块，一个呢是我们整个矿业从最初人类诞生一直到后来不断的去应用，那么这个过程中有什么样的历史怎么划分？又矿业与人之间呢，又是一个什么样的关系？也会讲到新石器时代人类有何重大的发现和进步，同时也会讲到从生产生活工具的角度来怎么看这个五大洲以及人种的五大洲各个人种的进化过程。那么第4方面呢，他会讲不同的矿产它分别有什么样的特点和用途，也会讲如果要做矿产资源研究的话，那么要涉及到哪些问题。今天下午2点半，那欢迎大家到时候可以来听我的导师，也是我生命中的贵人，到时候会给大家做这样一个报告。那么这是一点。那么这是OK，那我们今天呢进入这个直播间的朋友，请现在呢就进一步继续签到。我们希望进入直播间的朋友有问题也可以随时在这儿提问。我们讲的好的地方也欢迎大家打赏。今天的直播过程中可能由于语音由于我的电脑的问题，我可能换了一台电脑，这音质稍微比平时要差一些，但整体上我相信大家还是听得会很清楚的。Okay, now let's move to today's topic, that is about how to build your brand from the ground up. And Joe, please introduce yourself, please.
Okay, great. Hey guys, my name is Joe Martins, and I'm a former software engineer, business analyst, marketer, writer, speaker, and I worked with Fortune 500 companies for about 20 years. And then in the last 5 years, I've worked with companies, manufacturers in China to market into North America. And over the past year, I've helped people throughout China to improve their conversational English, listening skills, and speaking skills. And of course, that's what I do now with Dr. Lyu Guo on these conversations. So take it away.
Okay, thank you for your introduction. Okay, it's my turn to introduce myself. My name is Lyu Guo, translator and consultant in mining and geology. I graduated from Northwestern Normal University in biology and went to teach senior high school English for 3 years. At the same time, I finished my second bachelor degree at London University in English education. And in 2003, I came to Beijing and specialized in mineralogy, petrology, and mineral deposits at the China University of Geosciences. At the same time, I worked for the globally largest mining company BHP Billiton, largest company in Australia, and at that time I acted as a translator and geologist, prospecting for public deposits for several years in northwest China, North China, Gansu Province, Xinjiang Province, Inner Mongolia, etc. And later, I was jointly cultivated by China University of Geosciences, Sciences, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and Miami University in the United States, specialized in geomicrobiology for my PhD. And that is about interaction and bacteria. My PhD dissertation was regarding the CCSD project, that is a Chinese continental drilling program, about subsurface about 5,005 meters deep on the subsurface, so extremely deep. About 18 countries, scientists involved in that project. Some about geologists, some about biologists, and a lot of countries, scientists involved in that project. I brought these samples to the United States and finished my postdoc. And when I came back to China from the United States, I worked for the global for China Technical Survey and took responsibility for international cooperation and compared a whole bunch of international mining and geology books, especially investment books, and at the same time, I also finished my postdoc at Beijing University in geology. And in 2008, I registered Suntrans at the gate of Tsinghua University, Beijing, and registered Suntrans Consulting LLC in New York in 2011. And in the past 12 years, I have been in more than 30 countries to help Chinese companies to purchase mines and oil fields in African countries, American countries, and South Africa. Especially we have several branch offices. One is Toronto, Canada. The other one is in Lahore, Punjab province, Pakistan, and the third one is located in Uganda, Africa. And so we provide, on the one hand, we provide translating geological mining and also raise money for these mining companies. And at the same time, we also organize a lot of international conferences in mining and translation services. And this is about 2 months ago, we got started to cooperate. We collaborated with Mr. John Martins from Street English. We provide online conversational English training and introduce some similarities and differences between China and America. Sometimes we also introduce employment and career planning for foreign language students, and sometimes we introduce risks and opportunities for global mining investment. And sometimes we also, more often than not, we introduce some language skills. For example, yesterday we studied how to quickly learn some special terms in medical industry and in mining industry. And today we are trying to talk about how to build your brand from the ground up, especially for just for me. Maybe some friends are curious about today's topic. For me, I just because I get along with a lot of translation companies and provide services for mining companies. That's why I know how to build a brand for your mining company or a translation company. So this is my reason to select today's topic. And Joe, would you like to talk about your reason to why you choose today's topic?
Sure. So for about 20 years, I helped launch different products and brands with a lot of different companies in different verticals: finance, content management, manufacturing, publishing. And in each case, you have businesses that have a very specific audience, specific market that they serve. So the challenge is trying to make sure that their branding is in alignment with their markets. Yes. And so it's always a challenge. You know, it's fun when you have a new industry you've never worked in. Let's say you get a job in an industry that you did not previously work in, all of the rules of branding still apply. It's just that you need to now figure out how to apply them to your new industry. So I think it's a great subject for today, not just for translation and mining, but for any future businesses or markets that you go into.
I think as far as we are talking about, when we talk about brand building, that means in great degree, I think a lot of people know one smile curve. Do you remember smile curve? Smile curve? This is a very famous curve. That is for a whole industry chain. Usually, like this is a smile chain. The lower part, that is for production. Production usually this is the lower part. They make very little profit. But the other two sides, one is about innovation. If you can create a new brand or a new commodity, then it's very popular. So those people who innovated the commodity will make a lot of money. The other part is about salesmen who are good at marketing and sells the products to a lot of people or the service to a lot of people. Then they can also make a lot of money. That is called smile, like a person is smile. Two sides, the middle part, production part, just make a little money, but the other two ends, they can make a lot of money. So the middle part, little money, the other part, a lot of money. So that is, if we don't have brand, usually you just brand the service and the function, but you cannot make a lot of money. You know, even the same a bag, LV bag maybe 20,000 RMB or 40,000 RMB, but still the same as the bag, but the different prices. Just because one is a very famous brand, the other is a common brand. A common brand just used for to fulfill its function of put some materials stuff inside. But for every brand bag, that means also in some degree it means it stands for certain status. Status. That means you are a very noble person, or should be respected, or that is a luxurious commodity. So brand bring a lot of maybe reputation or a symbol of your reputation or your position. Anyway, a brand is extremely important. For some today, maybe a lot of our audience are from just freelancer, part-time translators. If they should also have such kind of recognition to build up your brand. Even yourself is a company. If you don't accumulate certain brand information, then you cannot make a lot of money. So, Joe, would you like to talk about your opinion on what's brand building?
Yes. So basically, think of it. I think of it this way: you have two kinds of business that you can be in.
Yes.
One is selling a commodity.
Yes.
And that's very difficult because when you sell commodity, you're selling basically on price.
Yeah.
The other, to build a brand. And an example of that would be, when you buy water at the store, you will see that there are many, many different types of water to choose from. But some of them are just, you don't think of them as a brand. You just think of them as, that's a case of water. That's, I'll buy some cheap water.
Yes.
On the other hand, there are certain brands like Fuji or Evian who have built a brand around their water. So when you pay in the U.S., when you pay $3 or $4 per liter for an Evian or Fuji, you are paying for the brand. So you have to decide as even as a translator, are you going to be a commodity and always compete with all the other translators on just price?
Yes.
Or are you going to differentiate yourself and help people to understand why they're going to pay what they pay for your service and what they're going to get for that payment?
Yes. And would you like to talk about, take several examples about a very famous brand?
Oh, well, so if you think about, and this is for each category. If you think about automobiles, most automobiles are branded in some way, right? They all have a make and a model. But some brands command a much higher price. Why? Why are you willing to pay more for a Mercedes or for a Porsche than you might be willing to pay for a Ford? And part of it is the image, the perception that you have of what that company, what that brand is going to give you in value for your money.
Yes.
So it could be, prestige. It could be that, a sense of quality, performance, safety. And so certain brands have positioned themselves in your mind around certain qualities of Volvo. Yes. Volvo is very well known for safety. That has been the branding, the positioning of Volvo for its entire existence. Porsche, Audi, BMW, they're German, and German brands are usually performance and quality and engineering. You look at Bentley, Rolls-Royce. Yeah, it's custom, handmade, ultra high quality, and of course prestige that you can purchase a $500,000 automobile. So in each category, whether it's water, automobiles, laptop, computers, even your phone, in your phone manufacturer, you can think about brands that you hardly ever, you don't really consider them. Certain cheaper phones now that you can pick up for very low cost. In fact, if someone's trying to sell one to you, that brand has no power in your mind, and therefore you pay the absolute least that you possibly can pay for that brand. It's almost a commodity cell phone. But Apple, Samsung, these are brands that they created a certain perception of quality, of performance, of security, and you pay a premium. You're willing, in fact, to pay a premium. That's the difference. Is you can tell when branding has been very successful. Yes. Because those people they tend to be loyal. Look at Apple. Yes. Extremely loyal Apple customers. They will buy this iPhone 8. As soon as iPhone 10 comes out, they buy iPhone 10. 11, they buy iPhone 11. So the point is that branding is that perception of everything about you, everything. So it's how you, as an individual, how you dress, how you speak, how you conduct business. Are you honest? Are you dishonest? Are you what we call a strict talker? Do you speak in a language that it's easy to understand? You don't sound like an attorney. If you're a business, it's your website. How good is it? How easy is it to use? When you call customer service, are they polite? Are they professional? Are they helpful? And each piece contributes to your overall brand. If one piece is weak, that hurts your brand. If you did everything right with this, your logo, your website, your marketing materials, your customer service, but then you have, kind of a poor quality product, you're going to undermine all of this, right? So branding is the whole picture, and you have to pay attention to all of it. If you don't, one little piece can hurt the rest of the perception of your brand. Yeah. And that's why a company like Apple, think of Apple as a great example, Amazon, another one, but the whole experience, when you walk into an Apple store, they're smiling, they're friendly, they want to take care of you, they want to call you by your name, they will take your equipment and take really good care of it. When you hand it to them, oh, okay, we'll go take good care of this. And when they bring it back, I had a phone that they brought back in the styrofoam, because no scratches, right? Yeah. Every part of the experience was good. Yeah. And there are times when even the best brands do something bad. Yeah. So when Apple had they were charging too much for their battery replacements on their phones. Even in a case like that, as long as the company fixes the problem, then their customers will forgive them. So Apple came out and said, okay, we're sorry. We were wrong. We will charge less for this battery because, we overcharged you. So all of those angry people said, oh, okay, we forgive you, give us our battery. So yes. So yeah, it's a perception. Branding is 100% the perception of who you are and what you do based on your actions, not what you say you're going to do, but on what you actually do and deliver. That's what's the 100% the most important thing. And so that's what this whole presentation is about, taking what we just talked about, you and I, and breaking it down into several different areas that everyone should pay more attention to and think about when they want to build their brand.
About how to do brand, now I would like to talk about several companies. One is about the globally largest mining company, BHP Billiton, where I worked maybe 14 years ago, and I can take some examples how did the company make a great reputation. For example, about in 2006, I was still a master candidate at China University of Geosciences. I worked with my one geologist, or as a former very senior geologist whose name is Barry Quiros. He became my boss at BHP Billiton. And when we were actually, we are a mining company, so our work to do our work was to conducting mineral exploration. And besides the normal work, my boss also asked me to connect the local people, the government, the schools, and to make an investigation regarding their demands. For example, when we found out in Minqing County, Gansu Province, over there, a lot of primary schools and middle schools were pretty poor, and even their buildings, the teaching buildings, are very, very simple, even dangerous. So our company, BHP Billiton, donated some money to the schools and helped them to repair the teaching buildings and set up several ping pong table tables for table tennis, and all of the students, the local communities, and the government officials, all of them sign hand prize for our BHP Billiton, and they think, oh, you are not just come here for like a robber to rob or steal or rob our gold, copper, all of the treasures. Well, actually, you are trying to come here to help us. So the donation is very important to let the local people to like you, and at least they will support your work in mineral exploration on the spot. And what's more, when they repair the teaching building, they also ask the top leader government officials to involve their rehearsals, some very important ceremony, and a lot of they asked a lot of journalists, a lot of newspapers come here to report what they have done. As a result, everyone loves the company. Even you are a foreign company, they think, oh, you are really very kind to the local people. So how to build good reputation, and when newspapers reported their behavior, then a large number of people came here to look for a job in the company. So they do our human resources department sector didn't worry too much about how to recruit more workers. So just one donation didn't involve a lot of money, but the result actually, one is reputation. The second is recruitment problems were solved, and one stone can kill two birds. Very great behavior for BHP Billiton. Actually, some Chinese company also did very similar activities. Even including for myself, I'm a boss for the translation company, Suntrans Translation Company. A couple of weeks ago, I delivered a speech to 6 universities, foreign language students, about 3,500 students involved in my speech. It's for I didn't charge, but the university said, okay, I must give you several thousand RMB to show our thanks to you. But for other universities, I didn't charge any penny, just because I think since that I must spend 2 hours. I had better let more people. My speech must be beneficial to more people, as many as possible, and realize my value. And a lot of universities nowadays, they also mentioned, if you have more time, can you make the speech to our students? More and more universities are trying to invite me to make speech for them regarding employment and career planning for different major students. And so I think in the very beginning, I just want to help other people. As a result, more and more people are inviting me to deliver speech, and a lot of them are trying to work with us. So the whole behavior is very great for our company's reputation, and to propagandize our company and let more people know us, and we also are really provide some experience. So the reputation and the reputation is extremely important. If we do not do something like this, maybe we will no one know us. For example, if one girl is very beautiful, is trying to look for a proper boy to and marry him to be his wife, and so in my opinion, at least 4 steps. First step, at least you must let a lot of boys know you. If other people know you without the second, the third, the fourth steps. And so the first step is to influence a lot of people, propagandize you, advertise you, promote yourself or your company. Let a lot of people know you. The second step is to you must other people understand you. So today, why you and I, Joe, you and I are delivering the speech. Just through the speech, on the one hand, we help other people to improve oral English. On the other hand, all of audience will gradually get a familiar acquaintance to us. And if they really, in future, when the novel coronavirus is over, maybe we can face to face to learn conversational English together. And so this is the second step. We have the chance to know each other. So the first to let other people know you. The second, deeply understand. The first step is looking for you, seeking, find out you. The second is to be understood. Let other people understand you. The third step is let other people love you, or let the boy love you. The last step is to marry him. Anyway, the 4 steps we cannot directly as boy marry us. So step by step. But for our brand building, I think it's the same. Sometimes, firstly, if other people know you, if your company are informative, and later, how about your company's reputation is great or no reputation, even infamous. Some companies are infamous. So we must copy. If we are trying to build brands, that means to cut the processes into 4 steps, even more steps, and step by step to build our brands. And Joe, would you like to talk about how to build a brand?
Yeah, one surefire. Surefire means it works.
Yeah.
One surefire way is being part of the community. Whatever community, a community can be a physical community, meaning your local town, city, or neighborhood.
Yes.
But it can also be an online community. It could be, for example, women that all enjoy doing crafts. It could be people who enjoy owning and customizing automobiles.
Yeah.
There are many communities like the video games. People who enjoy certain types of video games. That is an online community. And by being part of that community first, you're not trying to sell them. Okay, you don't want to go, hi, I'm Suntrans, buy from me. What happens is what you did, which is you do a good job. You work with people.
Yes.
They tell other people. And over time, people recognize your name.
Yes.
And when you're part of a community, in fact, recently in China, during the outbreak with the coronavirus, think of all the Chinese companies that donated. Some of them donated hundreds of millions, but they didn't have it. Many companies, you don't have to donate 100 million yuan to, they did because they're big and they have the money and the means to do that. But think about small restaurant owners who made meals for doctors and nurses. They just donated meals.
Yes.
Everybody in the business community said, how can we help? Now, when I think of their brand, I say, wow, hey, that's the restaurant owner who gave meals to doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
when they were working hard to save people's lives. That's a good business owner. That's somebody I would want to eat at their restaurant. So being part of your community, finding ways, you don't have to be wealthy, but finding ways to volunteer, to participate in look at what we're doing. Part of what we're doing with these discussions is to have people just participate, to be aware of what it is that we do, how we do it, and, for example, they can see that how conversation can be a very powerful tool, even in a second language, even when it isn't your primary language. And so part of our live streams is part of the branding, to be able to help people to say, oh, they're nice, or whatever. I hope you think we're nice. But, they might think you're nice. They might think you're a good teacher. Whatever comes to mind from hearing you speak, seeing you speak, and hearing the topics that you can practice speaking about. So, that's probably one of the most powerful parts of branding is that being part of something bigger than just yourself. And I think, in fact, you and I had said, this was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We said, if your goal is to make money, just to make money, that's your only goal, you're going about it in the wrong way.
Right.
If your goal is to first serve a market,
money-oriented
team,
finally will be destroyed.
Yes, absolutely. You want to serve a market, you want to provide a service that people find valuable, that they then hopefully like the way that you deliver it, they like the quality, they like your service, and that alone can generate word of mouth. Yeah. That can generate a very positive image. And with the world today where people have easy, free access to the internet, they think about how easy it is to either build a great reputation or destroy your reputation. Yeah. If you mistreat customers, it's very easy for them to tell 100,000 other people how poorly you treated them.
Yes, I agree with you.
So if you focus on the customer, the experience, the delivering a quality outcome result, the money will come with that, because those companies are ultimately successful companies.
Yeah. Here I'm trying to talk about, for me today, most important opinion, just for the whole conversation. That is because I experienced a very terrible experience in the very beginning when I was building the brand of Suntrans. The Suntrans at that time almost died, almost closed. So I hope, hopefully everyone in front of your computer or mobile phone must listen clearly about my opinion here. That is segmentation. Segmentation is extremely important. In the very beginning, about 2008, I registered Suntrans in Beijing, but I was still a PhD student. I was extremely busy. My wife was running the company, and at the same time, I part-time work for the company. And the company not developed very rapidly, and didn't develop very rapidly. And later, in 2010, I came back about May 2010. I came back from the China Geo Survey. Full-time got started the work in Suntrans. And in the former 2 months, I found I finished all of the projects I brought from the government because I worked for government before, and I felt very painful at that time. On the other hand, all of our audience are translators, and a lot of them studied overseas and very high degrees, PhD, master, and graduated from prestigious universities. And they are very great at translation skills, but they are not good at marketing. So no projects at that time. So I went to split the advertisement in Wudaokou or some universities on some conferences, but the results still not good enough. We got some projects, but the projects were still not very many. So later, I found one question. That is, our clients or potential clients would like to ask us one question. Why should I choose you? You are not number one. In the society, there are so many translation companies. Do you know how many translation companies nowadays in China? The very active translation company in China, at least the number is about 60,000 translation companies in the society. Maybe most are very, very small, just less than 10 people, 5 people, 2 people, or even one. They are one translation company. And so my question, I couldn't answer my client's question. Joe, do you know, if you were me, how do you answer my client's question? There are so many translation companies. Why should I choose you?
Well, and it depends on what stage you're in. You know, if you're brand new, nobody knows who you are, let's say. If that's your situation, the most important thing
do not talk too much, just briefly talk about if you were me, how to answer the question. You don't develop more, just tell me, how do you answer my client's question?
Okay, so if you're new, you would provide some sort of samples. So, for example,
yes,
you
we
might
have some
say,
samples.
I will show you. You know,
yes,
if
we
I
have
were
some
providing
successful cases. No problem. We show them successful cases. You ask me one question. There are so many translation companies. Why should I choose you? Can you give me answer? Why should I choose you?
Well, the problem is most are going to say the same thing. They're going to say, we have the best quality, we have
are you
satisfied
really best
customers.
Quality? Do you think you are really best quality?
Everybody, they all think so. Every company
you don't believe yourself. You don't believe what you are talking, and your clients also don't believe what you are talking.
Yeah, this is one of the fundamental problems that you will find when you work with branding for multiple companies. They all believe they have the best engineers. They believe they have the best ideas, the best products. They believe this. The problem is when a consultant like me sees that other companies say the same thing, and many of them don't know. They don't know who is the best. They all think they are really good at it. The challenge with that is it's all talk. It's all talk. So, if someone were to ask you, in any category, any market, whether it's automobiles or translation companies or documentation, the sort of tech writing companies, they all say the same thing. We have high quality, we have fast turnaround, we have reasonable prices.
Okay, don't talk to so much. If you talk more, our clients have no patience to listen to you talk so much. It's not correct.
Sure.
It's not correct. You're here. because I was extremely painful. A lot of clients ask me the question here. So here, what I'm talking is extremely important because it's my lesson. My company was almost closed at that time. So hopefully today everyone must remember today's sentence. I hope you can also remember this. If just use one word, that is segment or segmentation. In the society, a lot of companies died just because they're all the same. What you are doing is exactly what other people are doing. No difference. Your company must be different, especially a new company. Of course, you are very weak. You are not strong. But how can you become very strong? Here, extremely important. You can listen. If at the very beginning, I always told other people we are a translation company. So our client talk about your company. I say, oh, our price is cheap. They will ask me, are your company's price is the cheapest? I say no. Maybe someone is much cheaper. A second question: do you think the history of your company is the longest? I told him no. Just registered for a couple of years. They asked me, how about your team? How many colleagues in your company? Do you think the number of your colleagues is the largest among all of the Chinese translation companies? I said no. There are a lot of translation companies. There may be 500, 1,000 staff. So how should I answer them? This question. I went to Tsinghua University. Fortunately, one course occurred to me. On the one hand, when sometimes I went to attend MBA classes in Tsinghua University. And before I came back to China, when I was studying in Miami University, I also went to MBA courses. And I remember one sentence that is very important. That is positioning. How to position your business. Especially one very famous trainer in China, brand building trainer in China. His name is Lu Changquan in China. When I went to Tsinghua University, he told us that is cut the cake into two pieces. Cut the cake into two pieces. You must either everyone, for example, everyone are doing this. You are the number one. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000 people are doing the same thing. You are number one. This is one way to be successful. The second way is more smart, much smarter. That is, only you are doing this. Other people don't know this, know nothing about the field. If you say, if you are cheating other people think, oh, ridiculous. I don't believe you. If you use knife to cut the cake into two pieces, the line is very important. How to cut the cake? For example, if I told my client, oh, we are a translation company, you should choose me. No one believes in us. Give me reasons why I should choose you. You are not the longest. You don't have longest history. Your quality is not the number one. Your staff number is not the most. Why should I choose you? So our company would almost die. But when I attended the MBA classes, I suddenly understand one thing. We cannot provide our service to everyone. We must give up a lot of clients. They are not. We must understand that we cannot do everything. It's impossible. We cannot do anything. We can just do part of the work in the society. Sometimes we just can. So positioning, that means to give up and to choose some and at the same time give up, simultaneously give up some work. So I understand one key for Suntrans. I understand in the society there are a lot of translation companies. Some are just by if we classify them into in language. Some are Japanese, some are Russian, some are Puerto Rico, etc. Anyway, a lot of languages. Every company has their strengths and their weaknesses. As long as you can do your strengths, it's okay. Finally, I got my master, PhD, postdoc from prestigious university in China or even globally very famous university, Miami University, or also globally top 50, very famous university, and Peking University postdoc is of course even almost number one. Even about geology, China University of Geoscience is number one in China. So if I tell all of our potential clients, I'm best translator in geology, do you think they will believe me? Because I was an English teacher, I studied in the United States, and I have been translated in the globally largest mining company. So about translation in geology mining, no one can compete with me. I'm number one. I have no competitor. If I told other people I'm expert in translator in IT, no one believe in me. I have no related background, education background. I have no related work experience. No one believe in me. If I told other people I studied biology, I studied geology, and I engaged in mineral exploration for many years, then all of them will believe in. Oh, you are right. In geology, I think you are number one. Actually, I had conducted translation in geology mining for many years in the past. So for our brand, I cut all of the translation industry into two parts. One is geology translation. The other is a non-geology translation. About a non-geology translation, we are not number one. If they give us some projects to translate, no problem, we can try to translate. But we don't actively focus on that part. We just focus on geology translation. Geology translation, at the very beginning, I told all of our clients, we are number one in geology translation. Fortunately, no one will come here and say, oh, we are number one. No one is trying to compete with us, because geology translation, that's a very, very narrow field. A lot of people think, oh, if I'm not, some people who cannot, either they don't have very high reputation or have a high degree in geology, or they are not good at English. We are doing translation, and I'm a good geologist, so I'm expert. I can compete any people or become a winner. So quickly we get a lot of projects. And before that, I tell other people we are translators. A lot of people take no notice of us. But when I focus on translation in geology and mining, we got a lot of projects. Just because our clients believe in one sentence, we are number one in translation, in geology and mining translation. Just one sentence is extremely important. We don't say, oh, we are number one translation in every field. We just mentioned about geology and mining, we are number one. Gradually, we can enlarge our field. But the first step is still to clarify we are very strong in this field. So of course, some clients will give up just because they need a translation in different fields, not mining and geology. But it doesn't matter, as long as I can grasp this field, we have got a lot of projects. So we cannot be. We must remember. We must be clear about our capability limit. We are not able to do everything. We just can do certain things, and we can win our clients' trust. And we cannot put on a very huge cap. We just have a proper cap. I mean, our title, our positioning must be proper, and we can tell other people, oh, we are number one. Even just a couple of years, we say number one. And anyway, no one want to compete us. After all, I have got the highest degree and have experience in geology mining. So, translation company, if a translation company is trying to survive, must remember your positioning must be very special. And at that time, in the whole China translation marketing, no one heard a word that is a phrase that is translating geology mining. What's translating mining? They don't know the words, not know the phrase in the society at that time. I created the title, the industry, the segment. So if we are trying to do certain things, maybe from the language, maybe for example, some companies are extremely good at translation in geology. Some people are good at Russian. Some people are good at certificates translation. Anyway, you must have your specific the positioning. You cannot always say you one day if your company has been large enough. Maybe you can say I can blah blah A B C D E or number one. But in the very beginning, you firstly really provide the translation in certain field and with high quality. Even our clients say, "Oh, you are really excellent." You cannot always say high quality by yourself. No one will believe you. So for this part, maybe we can give 30 seconds and see if everyone agree with me, because this part is extremely important. 30 seconds later, Joe, you can give comments. But firstly, I'll see our clients if I understand this opinion, because it's extremely important. I introduce a little bit in Chinese. 我刚才讲的任何一个品牌建设，我一开始呢就叫做阳光创意的品牌建设呢，就是一个翻译公司，结果差点做死掉。后来呢，我聚焦只做，因为客户当时问我一个问题，你为什么要选择你们公司？我不能给他独一无二的理由。我当时的公司就是差点就做死掉。后来呢，我就聚焦于矿业能源领域，去做这个翻译。因为我是地质学博士，博士后又是北大美国毕业，又是在世界上最大矿业公司工作过，这是我本身也做得好。那么没有人就跟我们抗衡，我们只做了一个细分领域，我把整个翻译市场分为低矿翻译和非低矿翻译两类。那么非低矿类的我们不主动进攻，而低矿翻译呢，我们专注做这一块。当做好了之后，客户给予良好评价，我们就形成良性循环了。所以，做翻译公司也要做细分领域，不要试图做遍天下所有的业务。你有些方面领域不强，你做了可能质量就差，就会有呆账坏账。我认为做品牌建设，尤其一开始要定位细一些，要适合，太细客户太少，你要适合你才是你就会活下来。同意这一条的，请回复1。我们也请大家及时的转发。我刚才讲的这一条呢，极其关键，我讲的也很激动。我认为讲了一个极其重要的一个观点，希望我们所有的朋友都能够在这一点上呢，能够取得一致的建议。同意的请回复1。OK。 Okay, just go. I talked. I think it's the most important during the course of building Suntrans brand. Joe, would you like to talk about your opinion? I mean,
yeah.
You can choose number one. Every people are doing the same work. You are number one. Or in certain field, no one is doing that. Only you are doing. Then you are also number one. At least in our clients' heart, they think about in their mindset. They think about this. Okay, give your comments, please.
Yeah. So what I was describing earlier is when I approached clients, and this is about 20 years of doing this with many different types of companies.
Right.
When you approach them, they're not thinking the way that you're thinking is correct, but they're oftentimes not thinking this way.
Yeah.
When you approach them, when someone like me would approach them, they would say, we have the best engineers, we have the best writers, we have the best, and that's impossible, right? We know that somewhere in that company is a specialty. For example, within your company, because of your background.
Yeah.
But when you first talk to a translation company, for example, they're going to give you the same answers of, we're great, our translations are great, our employees are very smart. The challenge for someone like me was to then ask a lot of questions to try to figure out what they're good at so that you can help develop that brand, to give them that position that they're trying to, that they need in order to compete.
Joe, sorry. Here I have one point, very important.
Sure.
For any brand, you cannot make sure, no one brand is perfect. If you say you are the best quality, and then you say you are the cheapest, and then it's impossible. If you have very high quality, that means the cost, it costs a lot. How can you make sure your quality is high enough? So about the value, the sentence. For example, our price is not cheapest. It's impossible. A lot of translators, they have 2 backgrounds or 3 backgrounds, major backgrounds, and even PhDs, overseas PhD are doing the job. How can we pay them very, very cheap? It's impossible. So we just about brand building. We just can emphasize one or 2 parts. We cannot tell every aspect we are number one. Just because different people have different options. These different needs. For example, if you are trying to treat a very important VIP guest, of course you will treat him with very luxurious hotel. Even you must choose that. Even spend a lot of money, it's worth it because you must make the deal successful. That means you cannot choose the cheapest. In such a case, you cannot choose a cheapest restaurant. Anyway, always you can choose one. Even just go about automobile and car vehicles. You can say even for Benz and BMW. Benz and BMW, I know the whole history of the several, and Volvo, the several. And when they are doing their advertisement, you can say driving BMW and take a Benz. Because do you know why their slogan is different? They have different slogans. Just because for Benz is the vehicle, the automobile is very, very heavy. And then when you sit it over there, oh, it's so comfortable. You feel comfortable. And back seats when you back seats are very comfortable, because the car, the vehicle, the automobile is very very heavy. At the same time, it consumes a lot of oil. It is money consuming also, and oil consuming.
Oh yeah.
But he cannot say, this is oil consuming. Or he cannot emphasize this point. But for BMW is slogans about driving BMW. You are flying, and you can please listen to the wind voice, the wind sound. Oh, it's so beautiful, so comfortable. Just because for BMW, BMW the vehicle is much lighter compared to Benz. So when you are driving the Benz, the BMW, you think it's very light and very fast. So that's why the slogans are respectively. Driving BMW and take a seat of Benz. Their slogans are different. They just emphasize one point, in which one characteristic, in which aspect we are number one. For our Suntrans, we just emphasize geology and money. We cannot say, we are cheapest, or we have the longest history, or the number of our staff are number one. We can, but we don't mention about this point. We just meet the satisfaction from some clients in mining industry or petroleum industry. So we cannot win all of the clients' interest.
Absolutely, but the challenge with each company is to get them to a point where they see what that specialty is, right? So Mercedes didn't wake up one day and say, hey, we're very comfortable. They usually
really comfortable. Yes,
but
and here they are comfortable, but maybe number one. I can also tell you another truth. Another automobile that is Volvo. Volvo also very famous, but not as famous as BMW and Benz. But Volvo emphasizes the safety.
That's right.
The car mentioned that as long as you drive the car, you are safe enough. Even like a lot of potential clients think that as long as I drive the car, I don't die. If you really drive the car and hit the wall, let you have a try, you will die 1 million times. You still will die. But it for always emphasize safety. He really had got a lot of patents about safety. They are not number one. I remember last year a lot of competitions about all of the automobiles characters. Volvo's safety actually just number 5. It the safety property listed ranks number 5, not number 1. BMW is number 1, but for one brand it cannot emphasize every aspect. They are number 1. For Volvo,
that's right.
Just emphasize about safety we are number 1. A lot of people always afraid of death. So I don't want to be dying. No, we don't have to be so comfortable. As long as it's safe, it's okay. So still a lot of Volvo still can survive. A lot of clients love safety. So safety is number 1. For such kind of clients, it's okay. So any one brand cannot occupy all of the clients, cannot meet all of the clients' satisfaction. Always someone like you, someone dislikes you. It's normal. So even you are a small brand, you still can think about how to cut the cake. From certain angle, you still have some space to survive. Don't worry too much. And mainly depends on from which angle you can cut the cake. So, tell me your opinion.
Yeah. Well, no, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
But inside the company, the people inside the company usually have a very difficult time seeing how to cut that cake.
Right.
So that's why marketing and branding, which is what I was doing for years.
Yes.
That's why sometimes you need eyes from outside to look at your company from the outside and say, what do people think when they see this company? So Volvo over time realized that it was a safer car. And through the marketing, that's how it developed that image, that brand. But at one time, Volvo, before this, Volvo sold their cars like everybody else sold, right? Until the day they realized, we will be the safe brand. Then they finally had their position.
Yes.
So in every market, when you go to a new customer, let's say a new translation company that's competing right now, today in China, pick a random translation company. Chances are they don't have a position.
Yes.
They didn't, like you, they didn't, say, I can specialize, and I will do just this niche market. You figured it out, but many don't. And so they need help where someone can come in and say, okay, let's ask some questions, find out, what's your background, where's your expertise, what can you position yourself as, and help them go through that thinking process. So, and that's part of this presentation. Part of this is, you'll see on these many slides, right? We talk about how to go about looking at yourself from the outside.
I agree with you.
And look in, and how does the world see you? And fortunately, you figured it out earlier on in your business. And now people think, yes, Suntrans mining geology.
Yes.
Got it. But there are, like you said, there are thousands of translation companies, and many are commodity because they say the same stuff as everybody else.
Right.
They don't. Nobody's helped them. Nobody's gone to them and said, "Let's figure out your specialty, your niche."
Right.
And so, as an individual, same thing with us as individuals. When we're branding ourselves, sometimes it helps to have conversation with the people around us who will say, you ask them, what do you think of me? When you think of me, what comes to mind? Do you say, you're nice, you're smart, you know a lot about cars or, mining? What is it that you know? And then from that opinion that those people give you, you can start to develop, okay, so this is my image in their minds. This is what they think of when they think of me. And that is the beginning of your own positioning for, as an individual. If you're trying to sell yourself to a college or to an employer during a job interview. But, fortunately, you did what many companies still to this day don't do. It's figure out what niche you serve. By the way, before we were talking about water, and we said, there's commodity water,
yes,
and then there's the branded water. Some companies, they will sell commodity water, but they will pick a market like the airline industry. They'll say, okay, we will supply water to just airlines, just, Hainan, China, Air, United, Delta. they supply just to the airline industry. So now, yes, they're kind of selling commodity product, but
yes,
they know airline industry better than anybody. Yes. And so they have the right relationships, they have the right equipment to do serving that market. Somebody else may say, I sell commodity water, but I specialize in hospitals. I just sell to hospitals. That's it. And so customers, like a hospital, when they're looking for a water supplier, they'll say, who should we pick? Oh, it's a company that they provide to just hospitals. They know what we need. They understand us. They know the language, and so even there's opportunity to sell somewhat of a commodity product, but into a specialized market that you understand. And again, you have the expertise in that particular market.
Yeah.
So it's super important. Everything that you said, I agree 100%. If more companies thought the way that you think, then I think that they would have a much better opportunity. They wouldn't have to sell on price all the time. Because if they have no brand, if they don't figure out their brand, they're stuck. They can only really sell on price, and that is a losing game.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, in fact, one could say that a marketing branding company could make its niche the translation industry and say, okay, we just help translation companies find their niche.
Here I want to mention one word, one phrase, and support one idea, that is, we need to make our brand. Why do we say a brand? Actually, there are two companies. One is real companies. The other is the figure in your potential client's mindset. Maybe you are one figure, maybe you are infamous. Maybe you are famous. Maybe you are very common. Maybe you are very, very successful. Even ourselves. One is real yourself. The other one is in other people's figure. You are in the other people's figure. Maybe the two figures are different. One is a real one. The other is people's mindset at the bottom of our client's heart. So that's why we should make our brand. Make our brand. For example, Jack Ma, each time deliver speech presentation, he is very good at public speaking, and so that a lot of people will listen to his speech. After the conversation, a lot of people, Jack Ma is so successful. If they will have a kind of feeling that is, if I were Jack Ma, I would be also successful, and that's why Jack Ma brought a very great reputation for Alibaba, and so here I emphasize the importance of public speaking and to make the brand. And if maybe you are very great in Chinese, 酒香也怕巷子深, but no one to promote you and to make your brand, then you are very common. You are a common professor, common person. No one respects you. In great degree, we must, even for any company, in a translation company, a mining company, you must cherish your leathers, right? You must cherish your feathers. Your feathers, like a bird. Every bird must cherish its feathers. 我们一定要爱护自己的羽毛。That is, if we, for example, maybe 2 weeks ago, I delivered a speech and make analysis regarding the reputation of Vale, VALE, Vale mining company. This is a giant mining company in Brazil, in the South America, the biggest mining company, that is Vale. In iron ore industry, Vale and BHP Billiton and Rio Tinto, they are top 3 giant mining companies. And since 2015 until 2019 and 18, just because the various company, several tailings dams were destroyed and killed several hundreds of people. Then immediately the reputation was conflicted by the disaster, and even the president of Brazil delivered speech several times and criticized the company, and the CEO lost his position, and a lot of people were put into prison, and it's terrible. So even for a translation company, for a mining company, they must care. They must have some company that is one is about public relations, public relation sector, or they have a public they have a speaker. Any company must have a position that is a speaker. Well, even when myself was hired to provide a translation and consulting for a Chinese mining company, we went to Uganda in Africa, purchased one of the biggest copper and cobalt mine over there, and finally the chairman announced me to be the speaker to president, to the ministers, to the newspapers. Each time when the journalists came over to interview the company, most time I must deliver a speech to them. So for any company, it's very important for such a speaker, and because no matter your company is good or bad, your reputation, you are infamous or famous, you must always have some person to talk to the public and to government,
That's
to
right.
your employees. Some people must, that is about our discussion, people's different opinion, or even opinions leader, key opinion leaders is very important. That is, it is called KOL. KOL is very important. And for newspaper, every government's eyes, your company is very great. Then everything will be okay. So it's very necessary for any mining company or translation company to offer one position that is about speaker to newspapers, government. Okay, talk about your opinion.
Yeah, no, remember what we were saying before, which is the weakest link, the weakest part of your strategy, your branding strategy,
right,
can undermine all the rest. So even, let's say a restaurant that has great food and great service, but a dirty restaurant. That dirty restaurant undermines the great food, great service. Or if it has clean restaurant and great service, but it has terrible food, the food is the weakest link.
Oh, the quality is also very important.
Yes, and so having a PR person
to our clients.
yeah. So having a public face,
right,
a person, and you want to pick somebody who's they're professional.
Yeah.
They never lose their cool, right? They never get frustrated,
right,
no matter how difficult. Remember when BP, the oil company,
BP Petroleum.
Yes, when they had Deep Horizon, the oil rig that blew up, and spilled oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
I remember the case.
Yes. So, of course, terrible accident. But the PR people, even with all the pressure from the reporters, asking them so many difficult questions, they stay composed, they stay professional, and they stay on message, whatever that message needs to be. But having a professional face to present to the community is very important. Sometimes founders, CEOs, the executives, sometimes I wish they wouldn't talk because they can. Well, remember we said everybody has specialty.
Right.
Some people who lead a company might not be the best public face for the company. So Samsung, when Samsung wants to do a big event, maybe the CEO goes out on stage and introduces the new product.
Right.
But if there's a problem with their phones, they send a professional PR, right? Somebody who will not lose their cool, somebody who will try to provide answers, to the people asking the questions.
Yes.
And they will provide the best possible face for the company, even under the worst circumstances. And very valuable. I think you have to be very careful when you hire for that position. You know, that is if they make a mistake, that could cost the company clients. It could cost the company profits. The damage can be lasting. So what I would say is don't be cheap.
Right.
Definitely, this is not a time to get the cheapest public relations person. It is the time to get the most.
There is another way. That is, maybe you can produce a series of products. For some products, you can even for zero price. Some are very cheap. Some are very expensive. Some are medium. I mean, I think it's very necessary. You cannot just provide one product because the clients are trying to compare. They no matter how do you charge, it's very high or it's very low. Always the clients will say, "Oh, I don't want to pay so much. Please, cheaper." They always hope cheaper. But if you give him 3 or 4 options, you can decide. Cheaper, that means the quality is not so high. Expensive, that means high quality, and you have right to choose. Or sometimes they can meet different the demands in different situations. For example, for our translation company, sometimes if you just take the translated materials, the documents as a reference, you don't have to be so every sentence very concise, very exactly. But basically, you can understand. You don't have to be published. You are not trying to publish it. Doesn't matter. The quality is not so high. Doesn't matter. You can understand. You don't have to pay so much. But if you are trying to publish a scientific paper, scientific research paper, that means every word must be exactly correct. Every special terms must be correct and concisely.
Right. Yeah.
In such a case, you must pay much higher because our proofreaders and translators also must be qualified enough. So in such a case, we need the proper people, and it's very reasonable, I think.
And brands. Think about we were saying car brands earlier.
Right.
Think about what Mercedes and BMW and Audi have done. They had sort of over time, as their cars got more and more expensive,
right?
They were missing an affordable car, a really like an entry, what we would call entry level.
Right.
So many of them said, "Wow, we have no more entry level car. What we need something for the consumer who wants Audi or wants Mercedes but cannot afford the C class, S class."
Yes.
They say, "Oh, well, maybe get C or E," and so they come out with they try to fill a hole in their product line. They might have high end and mid, but they have no low, or they might have low and high, but nothing that fits kind of in the middle market. And so as a company, you should, in translation, you might say, okay, highest accuracy, if you need it super fast and you need the best accuracy, well, you pay here.
Right.
If you are willing to wait and we get to it when we get to it, and maybe there's some mistakes, but you will generally understand the translation, well, that's this cost.
Right.
And they know it. As long as they're clear on what they're getting for that price, then it's okay. Where companies go wrong is if they don't make that clear, and they think they're going to get an amazing translation for a very cheap price. We say the phrase is champagne expectations on a beer budget.
And just ago, I mentioned a series of products. That means for some services, just means extra value, to provide extra value. Some products or services just be used, be hired to use to attract clients. So we don't have to make every product to be profitable. Sometimes certain products purpose is just for attract people, even for free. It doesn't matter. For example, when we are using QQ, WeChat, Instagram, all of these social medias are for free. Actually, not every sector is for free. For example, even Facebook, you can also do advertisement. And for QQ, WeChat, even if you use an price WeChat, they also charge you. And so a lot of function is for free, but some are still need to charge. And that depends on the products and the sectors. Case by case.
Yeah. And free. Remember a few days ago when we were talking about the power of free. If you pick, it doesn't have to be an expensive service.
Right.
Just something that is relatively easy for you to deliver.
Right.
And it costs little or preferably nothing at all.
Right.
Then it is a great opportunity to attract new customers. Earlier, I was saying samples of work.
Yeah.
When I was beginning to do graphics for companies, nobody knew me back then for graphics. I said, how am I going to show them that I'm good at graphics? And I said to this company, if you provide a product, I will make the graphics for that product. If you don't like it, you don't pay.
Right.
If you like it, let's do business.
Yeah.
I did that, and they became a client, and they've been a client ever since.
Yeah.
So, there are times where you might say, I can't do that for them for free, but if it's a tiny project, doesn't need to be, 60 hours of your work.
Yes.
It can be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that 10 minutes and your free service can turn into a client that you might have for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So choose your free wisely, but it's a very powerful tool for attracting new clients.
Here, you also list one sentence that is, do people know your brand promise? I think here, usually people frequently make two types of mistakes. One is don't make a promise. Don't make a promise. That means people don't believe you, even you don't make a promise. The other mistake frequently made by us is that that is over promise. Over promise also very terrible. The first, if you don't, for example, one girl and one boy, they are falling in love with each other. If the boy doesn't make a promise, oh, I love you, I will treat you with like a queen, and girls love these words, would like to listen to these words. And that means you will treat me great, will respect me, and then the girl will marry you. If you never promise, maybe the girl say, "Oh, even even you would not like to make a promise. You dislike me. I don't think we need to marry." So, firstly, you must make promise to our clients. And secondly, if you overpromise, for example, you say, if you cannot submit the translated documents timely, or there are certain mistakes, even for a dictionary, occasionally some mistakes still exist over there. A lot of people check a dictionary before it is published. Still, some mistakes may exist, but doesn't matter. So for our translation quality, usually we can allow maybe a couple words every several thousand words, or 10 or 100,000 words. Certain mistakes exist. It's okay. Even for a mining company, in a mine site, it doesn't mean the country may say, oh, the mortality, the death people, you cannot move every 1,000 among 1,000 geologists or workers. You cannot surpass 4 or 5 people who die within one year. So that means even for people to die, for those people who may die, your company cannot make a promise. Forever, no one will die. It's impossible. Everything is possible. But here, if one day, sometimes maybe your clients will find, oh, you didn't meet your promise. They will feel desperate, and they will maybe sue you in court. So when we are trying to make a promise, we cannot over promise to our. You must respect the natural possibilities, and instead of say, "Oh, no problem, everything is no problem." You cannot always say this. If some problems really exist, are really existing, you must. Honesty is the best policy. You cannot always tell other people lie, even over promise. You don't have to. That means take a risk. So, do you agree with me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Do you remember when we were talking about time management and when your boss, let's say, says, "How long do you think this will take?"
Yeah.
If a client says this to you, and you know that it's going to minimum, with no interruption, with no unexpected event, you know it's going to take 4 weeks. Never say 4 weeks, right? In some cases, people will say double plus 50%, so 10 weeks, and then the client will usually go, "Oh, 10 weeks that's a long time." If they're willing to wait, great. But they might say, "Can you do it in 6?" And so now You go, of course, yes, we could do 6. Okay, we can do 6. So you've given yourself a buffer, and you haven't overpromised, and you know the chances of you delivering not just on time for your, because in your mind you're going 4 weeks, right? So for you, 4 weeks is on time. For them, they're thinking 6 weeks. So for them, 4 weeks is faster. So they go, wow, you delivered ahead of schedule.
Right.
You go, well, yeah, the schedule I gave you.
Yeah.
But so it's very important. If you want, you're better off if a customer pushes back and they say, no, I must have it in 3 weeks, and you know to deliver a good quality product, it will take you 4 weeks minimum. Yeah. You say, sorry, it's going to take 4 weeks. No matter where you go, this is a 4-week project.
Yeah.
You have to learn, be able to walk away. If they want to try to go find somebody else, and when it fails, and it usually will fail, then they come back and they say, and you say, well, we'll help you. We'll help you now. So it's important to manage that. Absolutely. Make only promises that you know that you're going to be able to keep. Otherwise, it's a very high risk. Especially if a client is invested in you, meaning they've been doing business with you for years.
Let me translate your words into Chinese.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Know it. Okay. 刚才我在这儿呢，再简短的总结强调3条，就是我们刚才讲的一个呢，就是我们讲了，任何一个企业，不管是矿业企业还是翻译企业，都要有这个品牌官，还有一个新闻发布人，或者说对外公关部的发布者。那么这时候呢，遇到危机情况需要对外发布公关讲话，或者是日常的情况下，也要有人做品牌建设，也要对政府、对报纸、对新闻媒体要有一个发言人。对矿业公司、对翻译公司都需要，尤其是大的型的矿业公司都有专门的这样一个。外交部还有发言人呢，那为什么需要发言人？就是对有些问题要及时的澄清，那么这样才能保护好的声誉。那么这是品牌建设的其中一部分。第二点呢，我们就强调了避免犯2种极端错误，一种呢就是过度的一种是过度承诺你的比如说交稿质量时间交稿时间等这些呢不能过度承诺，甚至矿山上你也不能说从来都不能有死亡人数，是不能有死亡的，它都是你每1000人你经营多长时间内，你在矿山上你的死亡人数不能超过多少个，这都是国家都有相应的规定的。所以我们既不能一种情况下呢不做承诺，客户不相信你做了承诺，那么你也要在你的实际可操作可掌控范围之内，而不是能过度承诺。所以避免2种极端，要么不做承诺，要么过度承诺。所以既要有品牌建设官或者是对外发言人，一个企业呢要有你要展示好的形象，或者出现危机情况，为了防止避免变得臭名昭著，或者说即使这样社会发生，那么这样对一个企业的品牌建设呢是非常有用的。所以那么你的企业有没有对外发言人？这些有些时候呢可能老板就是重要的发言人，你比如还有些时候呢可能有专门其他人。那比如像华为的品牌在建设当中呢，任正非今年或者去年就频繁的出境，就是由于企业的需要，那么在特殊情况下呢，他要及时的对外发布一些观点，那么这是根据企业的发展需要。另外这种承诺以及不过度承诺，这些也都是极其关键的。那么同意这3点的，请在屏幕上回复公屏上呢回复1，如果不同意的也可以回复0，同意的请回复1。我们也请大家再次帮助我们转发今天的这些直播，感谢大家。我们有30秒钟的时间。 Okay, about brand building, how to build your brand building? Maybe Joe Martin is just go mention several points here. I think you must select one field. The field one from one angle. Just go I mentioned we must cut the cake into two different pieces. In your first narrow field, if you are number one, that's okay. You must find out the field. For example, maybe for any company you are to provide services or products. Maybe you can think in different ways. Here I take several examples. One is for example, you are a translation company. Maybe you can say, oh, our company is fastest. Our translation speed, we can deliver the translated materials within the shortest time. We are the quickest. This is one way. Or you can tell us, for example, some delivery express companies, we are fastest. Even one delivery company, their slogan is latest. Have you heard about latest delivery express company? Joe, I guess you never heard about this. Because some people say, no. I don't want to send the gifts to our friends now. Maybe 10 years later, or 5 years later, you can imagine some clients really have such kind of needs. Of course, not the most. They definitely are in China and in Taiwan, in China mainland and in Taiwan. We can say the second way, our company maybe not the cheapest, not the quality is not the best, the history is not number one, the staff is not the most, but we provide services 24 hours, day and night. For example, daytime is you are providing translation in China, but in the evening, maybe some people who are in America or in another sphere, some African people are providing translation services online. Anyway, as long as we can provide the services online, that's okay. So you can emphasize one point. Our company can provide the services 24 hours. So so there are many angles. You don't have to also always upset, we are not the cheapest. You have many ways. Maybe you can say we provide translation in chemistry, or for scientific paper proofreading and translation, we are number one. Or you can say our oral Japanese translation number one. You just select a certain narrow field, you are number one. That's okay. You don't always want to. You are a snake. A snake is trying to swallow an elephant. The market is so huge. You just select some proper ones. If you are a snake, you just select a mouse, or a rat to eat. It's okay. You don't have always choose every elephant to eat. The market is very huge. You just select some of them. It's okay as a dinner. It's okay, and a lot of ways. Maybe from different languages. Maybe from the qualities. Even roast duck. I think Joe, you are living in Beijing. Beijing roast duck is very famous. 全聚德 is so famous. The duck is very expensive. One roast duck costs 400 RMB. Maybe some people say, so crazy. Duck is just duck. Why so expensive? I buy in the supermarket, maybe just 20 or 40 RMB. Very cheap. But in the restaurant, 400 RMB, 10 times. But
No?
全聚德 is still over there. Still, their business is still very blooming. I mean here, they, as long as they can meet certain people's needs, it's okay. You cannot meet all of the clients' demands. Different
That's right.
clients have different needs. You just you can merely meet certain clients. That's okay. No one company say, "Oh, I can meet everyone's clients." In the 全聚德, the restaurant, very top restaurant, they just meet some people. Okay, I need some brand. Today I'm trying to treat our clients very VIP guests. They are very important. Money is not very important. I don't have to choose one cheapest restaurant. Here, all of these waitresses are very beautiful. Even they can speak English, foreign language, and the environment is very excellent. And so maybe some people are choosing not only about your food, they are choosing the position, the reputation, a lot of factors. So when we are trying to build our brand, we must consider from which angles we can cut the cake into different pieces. So you just select some part which is suitable to your business. Okay. Joe, would you like to talk about your angles? How to select a market? We must have very clear figure or profile of our clients. 客户画像一定要清晰，从不同的角度来切分市场。Okay, go ahead, please.
There's a concept of ideal prospect profile.
Right.
It's that customer that is your ideal customer. Let's say you're a translator and you know that your two best languages are Russian and Chinese. Well, now you've just taken a very large market and you've narrowed it down first to Russian Chinese translations. But then you go a step further. Maybe your degree is in software development, software engineering. And so now you say, oh, Russian Chinese translations in software. And maybe you have a master's in business and you understand contracts. So maybe your Russian Chinese translations for software or high-tech firms contracts.
Right.
So you can kind of say, okay, how can I use my team or my background to best convey what my specialty is, and that becomes your target market. It's a little harder in some markets to do this.
I agree with you.
For example, if you're selling yogurt, okay, well, who's eating your yogurt? Is it 24 to 29-year-old women, who earn 50,000, renminbi per year? What is it? Who is your market? So it's a little more challenging for some, but it's still an exercise they must go through. So all of these large food companies try to figure out who is buying our chips, who is buying our water, and then all of their branding, their language, their colors, the packaging, all of it is designed specifically to go after those markets. So they're not trying to appeal. Maybe some man, like this power bank. Maybe a company says, mostly women would be interested in this size because it's very portable, it's light, fit in a purse. It doesn't have the maximum capacity. It's not huge, And we can make it in beautiful colors, pink and blue. And so they know maybe men won't be interested in this, because it's pink or because it's too small.
Yes.
But that's okay.
You're right.
Earlier you said.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to know, you have to be willing to give up.
Yeah.
The customers that just aren't the market that you're going after. And there's nothing wrong with that.
You almost mentioned the basics is a memorable logo. Logo is very important. Today, let's talk about the two logos of our two companies. One is Suntrans, the other is Street English. About Suntrans,
for sure.
Our logo was I hired a very famous designer who got a lot of prizes in the world. At that time, when I was still studying at Miami University in the United States, he got a lot of prizes for his works, and he involved in certain exhibitions in America, and I was his translator, and I was a PhD candidate at Miami University. I provided a very high quality service for him, and he loved. Oh, he said, "Oh, guy, you have did a great job for me, and I must show my thanks." He was trying to pay me a lot of money. I said, "Oh, you don't have to pay me money. Please help me to design as a logo for our company." He said, "Okay, I can help you." He divided about more than 200 different logos for my company. More than 200 different logos.
Wow.
Here I can tell you how did we choose the logos. Firstly, I searched almost 1,000 different logos globally. Out of logos, I choose compare them. Finally, I think at that time in 2008, New Oriental School have been very, very famous. At that time, New Oriental School. For New Oriental School's logo, one is Xin Dongfang, the Chinese characters. The other part is New Oriental. This here part is English. So I think for our logo, we must have in Chinese, have in English, because translation companies, that means translation. Trans means to cross, to involve in different languages. So I think two languages is necessary. Part for Chinese, 阳光创意 in Chinese, Suntrans in English. So two languages. And the second part is here. There is a U form here. Actually, if you check all of the form like a shield, and it's for a lot of brands logos in a lot of European and Western universities. Usually, you use the shield, U form, shield form. That means royal, very respected. That is royal. So this is the U form. And here there is a T. Actually, some people say, "Oh, it's something like a hammer." Because I'm a geologist, a lot of people say, "Oh, for in your logo there is a hammer, maybe." And it's yellow, it's golden color. You are a hammer, you are a geologist. You like a hammer to hit the rock or to hit the sun. So they are asking me, "Oh, are you trying to use a hammer to hit the sun or the rock?" I told them, actually, the T is the capital for translation word. This is the first letter of translation, T. And why should we call that Suntrans? Sun, S-U-N. S-U-N is my girlfriend, my wife's surname. My wife's nickname is Sunny, S-U-N-N-Y, a Sunny girl. And her surname is S-U-N. Song Yumei. Yumei is jade mayflowers. S-U-N is her surname. And trans means translation. So that is Suntrans. About the Chinese part, Yangguang, that is exactly SUN also means sunlight or sunshine. And when I was studying as a master student, I always feel very cold. I look like to in the sun to run or to walk. I feel comfortable because I feel desperate. I don't know where I don't know my career planning. I don't know in which aspect I should develop myself. So I love sun. I love to walk in the sun. That's why Chinese sun. I love sunlight. Help people. My character also very enthusiastic, very zealous to curiosity. I always full of curiosity and enthusiastic to help other people, and so I love sun. So I always we must have a very positive attitude to everything. That is Yangguang. Chuang means translation. The pronunciation. Translation Chuang and the Chinese character Chuang is very similar. Chuang, on the one hand, it means innovation. We must have a capability for our translation business. We are doing not only we are providing not only translation. Some people say, "Oh, translator, just you transfer some words from one language to the other way." Just like a labor work. But for me, I think Chuang and translation, that means to create something new. That is innovation. We must, it's a magic. It's very interesting. The last word, Chinese character Yi, that means translation. Our original business is about translation. So the four Chinese characters, the former word two, Yangguang means suntrans or sunlight, or positive psychology, positive attitude. Chuang means translation and similar pronunciation and innovation and creating something new. Yi means translation. So this is the whole introduction about our brand. Okay. Joe, would you like to talk about why your street English, you call your brand is street English?
Sure.
Okay, please.
So I went, like you, I had gone through many different variations for both the name and the logo. From the beginning, I knew that with all the schools that are in China already, one of the ways that I wanted to differentiate was it's not a classroom, it's real life. It's, having a conversation like this, where we just talk about real world topics, not a structured sense. The second was conversation, not textbooks. The idea that the way that English is spoken, or any language is spoken on the street versus in the classroom, is different. So to me, classroom English and street English are related, but they're different. In fact, as I try to learn a language like Chinese, I don't want to learn textbook Chinese. I want to learn actual Chinese the way that it's spoken on the street.
Yeah, you are right.
And so, after many thoughts about this, street English name is what we settled on. We thought that captures what our mission is. Conversation as it happens on the streets of native English countries. And the road in this, which it was not originally a road, it was just the letter S.
But let me explain your Chinese part a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. 街头 means a street. the Chinese former two Chinese 街头 means street, and 英语 of course English. The two phrases, the two phrases, four Chinese characters, and here your logo, one S, that is a street English. The capital word, the first letter, that is S. So there is and our two companies logos, both are golden part, golden words, and color. This is company color, very important. And maybe it's necessary for me to translate the orange of your logo and my logos into Chinese. Let people understand clearly why you name your logo and my logo. 我这儿再简单的说一下这两个，用中文来解释一下这两个 logo 是分别来的。那么我们今天讲品牌介绍，首先你要有 logo。对阳光创业的 logo 呢，我们是首先，当时呢我在美国迈阿密大学读博士的时候，我是替一个设计师获了大奖的就是一直在做翻译。那后来他要给我付费的时候呢，我没有要这个钱，就是请他给我的公司做了这个设计。最初呢，我找到了1000多个这个 logo， 他自己呢又设计了。根据这1000个 logo， 我们提了一些建议之后呢，他设计了将近200多个。那么其中这个 Suntrans SUN 是我女朋友或者当时已经变成我妻子的名字，我们刚刚那个结婚不久。然后呢，她姓松，子小松，孙悟空的松，是那英文名正好是姓呢是 SUN， 那这就是其中一个来源。Trans 呢是 translation 英文这个单词翻译这个单词来源，那所以英文呢就是 Suntrans。那中文呢是。一方面 SUN 呢可以表示太阳、阳光，这是阳光的来源。同时呢，因为我是读硕士的时候，以及读博士的时候呢，我一直呢都内心比较阴冷，就感觉到我喜欢在太阳底下晒太阳、散步，因为我不知道我很迷茫，我不知道我应该朝哪个方向发展。同时我也希望我自身呢也是比较热情，我希望有像阳光一样有个阳光心态，看什么事儿呢都能够从积极乐观的角度去，而不是从悲观的沮丧的角度去看待事情。所以我觉得要有阳光心态。我阳光女孩、阳光男孩，我很喜欢这个称呼。我女朋友的当时之前的名字呢，就一直的名字呢，就是后来成为我妻子的，她名字呢就叫做 SUNY Sunny， 就是阳光灿烂的或者是晴朗的这样的意思。创意呢，创呢是来自于我希望我做了很多年的科研，我不希望一个翻译呢只是一个体力活儿、传话筒，一定要有创造性，这是一个原因。还有一个原因呢是 translation， 这是谐音，这是其中一个原因。还有译呢是 translation 这个单词的它的本身的意思，也是我们起家的业务。我们既做矿业翻译又做咨询，首先呢最初呢做的核心业务就是译。那么这是阳光创意这4个字的来源。关于这个 U 型的盾牌，是西方的这些大学啊，还有它只要涉及到皇家的，它表示尊贵，它的所有的 logo 呢，有一部分呢都是 U 型的盾牌。T 有些人呢把我理解成了我是不是一个地质师geologist， 所以把这一部分呢以为我是一个锤子hammer， 拿着一个锤子呢是敲石头呢还是敲太阳。事实上呢这儿呢最初的我们想的核心的意思呢是 T 是 translation 这个单词的第一个字母。那儿确实太阳确实是太阳光，那是太阳光辐射过来，普照大地。我们也有一个寓意，就是希望我们每一个人呢都有阳光心态，能够积极热情，乐于助人，这是我们当时的意思。那么我再接下来讲一下 Street English 的它的这个含义。Street English 这个 logo 呢这一部分有个 S， 那也是一方面表示街头大路。还有一个呢是 street 这个单词的首字母。那这我们两家的公司的 logo 呢都是英文加汉语。我的那个呢当时模仿新东方来的。那么Street English Joe Martins 他这个 logo 呢，他就希望他这个品牌以及寓意呢，他对英文的这个教英语叫这个对话英语，或者叫 conversational English 这一部分呢，又不同于咱们学校的这种英语教学方式。他说要求要实用，在街头大家平时怎么表达的？英语的目的不是非要像学校里头那么标准，甚至在街头我们就是来通过在酒吧、在街头日常的对话这种方式来学习，学以致用，很实用的这种英语。 那么而不是说非常正式的那种课堂。那么这是它区分于其他培训学校的一种方式。学英语，我们学以致用，怎么能在实践中直接学到，然后就用起来？所以，这是两个品牌的来历。So just ago, I talked about I have translated the stories behind the two brands, two logos. So now our conversation has lasted about almost exactly 2 hours.
Oh,
Would
wow.
you like
That was
to
fast.
summarize today's topic? How to build a brand for many companies and translation companies and English training schools. Please talk about your summarize today's topic, please.
Sure. So, and there are many, even more parts to this than what we discussed. But in general,
yeah,
when you're trying to come up with a brand, you have to figure out who your audience is. You can't serve everyone. Who is your target audience, your customer? Once you know that can then help you to develop all of your brand image.
Yeah.
Everything. Your logo, your packaging, your stationery, like your business cards, your letterheads, your website, the entire experience. And then you want to make sure that you're consistent in what you say, how you say it, and the way that you deliver your experience, no matter how you interact with those customers, online, offline. Always, for example, be professional, always try to deliver, honesty, not deception. So essentially protecting your brand, because you work so hard to build it, to get that reputation. Like with Suntrans, to get that reputation that you spent years, that now you have to, it's like a garden. You have to tend to it and make sure that you don't let it die, right? You have to make sure that your customers always feel that you're delivering value, good value for their money, and that you're always professional in your interactions with them, because that's an asset. That brand ultimately becomes an asset by itself, separate from us. Your Suntrans is a valuable asset separate from all of the underlying pieces, in a sense. It has a value in the marketplace. When people hear Suntrans, they go, yes, quality translation in mining and geology. So it's a process. By the way, this does not happen overnight. Suntrans took years. You said it takes time. Yeah. You're not going to start today, and 6 months from now you have a brand. It's a journey, and it takes time and your investment in keeping up with it and evolving that brand with the changes that happen. Even now with coronavirus, notice that I had to take the brand of Street English, which was originally only in-person workshop. And you had said to me, remember, a few months ago, you said, online, Joe, you need to do some online because that is the way that the future is going. And I said, okay, well, let's try this then. Yeah. And we began doing online. Yeah. And so I had to evolve even that brand. So you have to be able to evolve your brand with changes over time. That is extremely important as well.
Okay, here I would like to talk about the two things. The first thing is, I think I agree with you. Your summary is very important. Even you are just a freelancer. You just work for single one person. You still need to pay attention to accumulate or to accumulate your reputation or your brand building. and it's very important. Otherwise, you can make very little money. The second point is maybe about 2 or 3 hours later, my master supervisor, during the course of my master degree, my supervisor this afternoon, my Professor Xiaorong from China University of Geosciences will deliver a speech regarding mining industry, how to do mineral exploration, and about 2:30 p.m. in Beijing time, he will deliver a speech, and hopefully our friends can join the speech. You can check our promotion or advertisement. The second is tomorrow is Sunday. Our Chinese people are still normally working because May 1st will come. So for this Sunday, we will normally working. And hopefully, John and I will continue to make a speech. Tomorrow, the 10 a.m. In the morning, we will have a Beijing time. We will have a speech. So tomorrow, Saturday, normally working, and few days later, May 1st, we will have 7 days a week, and before you go to bed, hopefully, Joe, you can create new 5 questions and about tomorrow. Let's discuss tomorrow's topic, and then tell all of our audience. Okay. Now it's 2 hours and 8 minutes. Thanks a lot for your listening, and thanks a lot to Joe for your speech. Okay, let's
see you for participating.
Tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you. Okay, have a good sleep. Okay, bye bye. See you. Bye bye.
Have a good day, guys.
Okay.